Hey, you.
Hey,
How are you, stranger?
tag, real tag, but I'm good. I can't complain. Won't complain. How you doing?
Oh,
Beautiful.
thank
You know
you.
you always keep them lashes for days.
Um, that's my signature, right?
Yeah, that and them nails. I said she wear nails like I do.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. That's why I
Gotta have the
love them.
stilettos and gotta have that bling bling on it, right?
Bling blow.
All
How was the
right, so
cruise?
so good. I gotta
That's
send you a couple of
good.
pictures. It actually was a really nice girls trip, and it was a group of
Oh,
us that
did
had met.
mom go?
No, she stayed here and watched my fur babies for me.
Oh,
She came from she came
I
up
know
from Florida.
normally she goes.
Huh?
I know mom normally you and mom go.
Yes, but I'm taking her on one in November. It's a family
Okay,
one in November, so we're gonna go
gotcha.
then. But it was a really good trip because it was a group of us that had met on Facebook in a cruising women who liked a cruise group.
Oh,
So
dope.
like 15 of us had synced up to do this trip, and it actually was really nice. Very little cattiness, and everybody really got along really good. So I'm gonna shoot you a couple of pictures just
You
to
better, you
go
better. So you
see.
mean people don't have to go out and fight like they do on reality TV? Is that what you're saying?
Right. Everybody from Atlanta ain't fighting. But it was
Okay.
actually, these are women from all over places. And we
Uh,
actually all going on another one in August, girls
that's
trip on the
dope.
newest ship, the celebration. So yeah, it was
That's
really nice,
dope.
Mercedes. It was so,
You
so
need
nice.
that. You got to reset, man. Got to reset.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I'm a fan
Okay.
of that. Go
So
ahead.
what exactly are we doing
What are
now?
we
Because I'm
doing?
not
Why are you?
fully.
Mercedes just asked you to come and you here. I love it. I love it.
Listen, that's all that was required. You asked, of course I'm gonna say yes, even though I
I
don't even know.
love you. I love you.
I'm gonna
Listen,
step you. You got to step into something crazy. But did you come in? Sure. Mercedes said, "I'm gonna trust in Mercedes. I'm
that's
gonna
it.
survive
That's
it." So
it. No, I love it.
yes,
I
you're right.
love
I
it.
don't know what it is, but of course, you ask, I'm coming. That's always gonna be always.
Yeah, so yeah, no, I appreciate you, and you know I love you, Naomi.
Yes, you
So
do.
we're gonna kind of we're gonna kind of discuss on this meeting. So let me back up a little bit. So one of the things that we're doing different in the academy is we're offering awards. Okay.
I
So
saw
I
that.
said, hey, it's not fair for me to give new people awards and not go back and recognize my people who been grinding with me, right? Who have gotten, yeah, their accolades. Because I know
Is this being recorded?
yeah, this is recorded. Yeah. Because I know you. That's okay. Look, you said I want to know how down and dirty we gonna get.
Because sometimes I want to say stuff to you that I does not for nobody else's ears to choice. So I like to know.
No, for sure. No. You know, I was messing with you. And then, you know, I got a potty mouth. So, you know, I'll fly out there.
Excuse me, former trucker here. Still, I have to ask God forgiveness every day. Lord, forgive me.
Amen.
Lord,
Look.
forgive my mouth.
My mouth, boy. Look, I be like, boy, where you been? I'm gonna go say that.
Yes. I
But
understand.
let me say that funny. And then I'm a former car salesperson with an industry of men, right? So I think that's why me and you clicked a lot too in the beginning.
It's
And
not
now,
easy in
yeah,
these streets for us in these men industries.
yes.
So yes,
Oh
yes.
yeah, don't play. But I could run with the best of them. Don't ever get it
Please
twisted. You
believe
know
it.
what I'm
Throw me
saying?
to the wolves. I come back leading the pack, baby.
That's yo, you stupid, yo. That's why me and you here for real. So let me say that I say all of that to say I wanted to recognize, you know, you, Stacy G, some of the people who are with me who been getting these 5-figure deals. But more importantly, with that, one of the things that I see is, you know, I definitely have my students who get the deals and then they start scaling, right? So you are scaling, but I know not as fast as you want to. So I wanted to kind of revisit that at the end as well to kind of offer advice. But first tell the people, because this is being recorded. And if they haven't seen our straight shot, no chaser video, I sent it to you, right?
No, you didn't send it to me, but you texted me and told me it was up, and I went on YouTube.
Okay. All
I was
right.
like, dang, they got the whole hour 45 minutes because we was in there a long time. So they
Yeah, we
edited
was
and
in
still
there
got a
cutting
lot.
up. Yeah. We was cutting up and shit. I forgot we was on camera. You know what I'm
I
saying?
know. Well, you know
So
where that rose go to, flowing.
look, tell you a story off camera about that rose too.
Okay, yeah, we gonna talk about it.
Because we was on our second bottle of rose before we was done. Yeah. That's how we do. Work hard, play hard.
Yes,
But if you guys, you know, don't know Naomi, definitely go to the Straight Shot No Chaser. She goes into this in depth. But Naomi, give them a snapshot for those people who haven't seen that show.
okay.
Give them a snapshot of kind of where you were in the business before, and then the difference between the Billionaire Creator Academy and other programs that you tried that made you as successful as you are now. And then we'll analyze some of the deals that you did and talk about those deals.
Okay.
And then we'll talk more about scaling.
Okay. So I have a business partner, and we had been doing real estate for, I want to say, at least a year and a half before I even met Mercedes. And we knew we had a passion for it. We knew we had studied other programs that gave us insight, but still didn't direct us enough to make deals happen. So it's like we were passionate about real estate. We knew we wanted to do it, but we still couldn't quite get that first deal done. We were lost. Where exactly do you get the leads? And then once you get the lead, we didn't have contracts. Well, we could have figured that out. Google can give you anything, right? But even once you get the contract, how you get those buyers? So what joining your academy has done for us is, first of all, it gave our business structure we didn't have.
That's important. Ooh.
Yeah, because other programs, they don't even talk about that.
Yeah.
When I joined your program and our one-on-one, that was the first thing you discussed with me.
Yeah.
Your business name, your business setup, and making sure. Now, the good thing for us is we had some of those things in place already. Because you were like, I like your business name. We already had a business name and stuff. You're like, I like it. So, but it still helped us with structure because we still hadn't done a deal when I met you.
Even
So
the CRM, I remember that being a hurdle. Yeah.
It was a hurdle because everyone in the industry always talks about Podio, and that's all you ever hear. We hated Podio. We still don't like Podio.
Look,
everybody wants you to use Podio.
People who like Podio, that's cool, but Podio wasn't for me. It's just
too complicated.
It was too many moving parts. It's like, what the hell is going on?
So joining the academy helped us even structure the ease of how our business flows now.
I forgot you were on Podio. We switched you all the way from that, right?
Yeah, because we were using it, but we never liked it. It never helped our business flow. Whereas now, when you were like Monday, we had never heard of Monday. So you're like, well, we use Monday. Monday helps our business flow amazing now. It's like, I don't know what I'd do without Monday, because but those are the differences in joining the academy for us, the structure, even before we got VAs, how things flow. And now that we have VAs with an S.
Hey.
I'm just saying, we got 3. I'm just saying. But now that we have VAs.
We working.
Now that we have 2 co-callers and we have an acquisitions manager. The thing is, it helps our acquisitions manager communicate with us on finishing our deals out. It just makes the flow so easy, and I make sure everybody keep up with them notes, and it makes us flow now, because before we were all over the place. That was the difference though. We was all over the place, but we knew we had a passion for this, and we knew we wasn't gonna give up till we figured it out.
Amen.
And you just helped us figure it out faster.
Yeah.
Even though we have been doing it a year and a half already, you helped us structure it faster. So once we got the structure together, things flowed. Then we had to learn your process, because we never had a process like this.
Yeah.
I've never seen a process like this.
It's a little bit different.
But the difference in your academy and other ones we've done, other courses and coaching programs, is it shows you from A to Z. Other coaching programs leave something out. They either gonna give you the course, but you're not gonna have the coaching, or they'll have the coaching, but you don't have the knowledge to go with it to help you figure out the A to Z. So you're still looking around like, I need more. Other academies needing more, whereas yours gave us everything we needed, even when we had questions after we were learning, and even after we did a deal and we was like so excited and ready for more deals and more deals.
Right.
It still answered all of our questions.
Yeah. And it's so funny, if y'all, whoever sees this, once you join the academy, look in the older classes where we called it the 3 p.m. class. Yeah,
I call it the sauce.
The sauce, that was the sauce, still saucy, but that right there, we was going in,
and I missed that with you, Mercedes. I just have to say that, because you have some amazing coaches now, but it's still only one Mercedes, y'all. I'm just saying. And the crazy thing about it is the way the academy is now, we have 3 different classes to help us with aspects of the business. Mercedes was giving us everything in one class.
Yeah. And that's why when we grew, it got a little convoluted because my newer students, I wasn't able to shower them because you have people like you coming in now. And let me say, if you guys listen to those other classes, you'll hear the progression from Naomi throughout that class, where she'll come in and she was frustrated, then she'll come in with excitement, then she'll come in. So it was really, it literally takes you through a whirlwind. And that's why I say, if it were me and it was somebody else's academy, I would listen to those classes like they podcast.
Yes.
I would
Seriously.
go through,
I started them over too, even when the academy switched over to different professors, I started over from your beginning, even before I was joined.
Yeah.
And it was still so much good information.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it makes a difference. It makes a huge difference. It really does.
Thank you for that. And I'll say we actually do have a program now where it's more one-on-one access with me as it was before the academy is here, in addition to the extra coaches. So like I'll be able to partner with the student and then they'll go to the coaches class to reiterate. So we'll build the whole business out for the student, basically, is how that goes.
Is it like a done for you deal?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's a done for you, and then I monitor the deals closely. So we actually just rolled that out because of
we're gonna need to talk about.
Yeah, I got you.
Because I'm gonna be honest with you and just keeping it 100 with everyone. The thing about this process, when you just like, God, this isn't working, I don't get it. It works. It works, but you have to be consistent, hang in there. Because what you have to realize is Rome isn't built in a day.
Yeah.
But it helps you fast track quicker than if you're trying to figure it out on your own.
So
even though you're still learning as you're going, but you're doing and you're getting prospects and deals. You literally have a student who I connected with her because she lives in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And she's just about to close her first deal in a couple of weeks. And she had 50,000 questions for me, which I was glad to help. But she's so grateful because she's like, because at one point she was like, I don't know, she's all over the place. I'm like, slow. Start from the first step of your course and go to classes. When she started going to them classes,
that's the difference.
It was clicking. So that's why I call them classes the sauce. I'll tell anybody.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then that's the thing. I always equate this to, and I'm glad you said that, I always equate this to people say, if I hit the lottery, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But do you ever even play a damn lottery ticket to hit the lottery?
Most people that say that ain't even playing. Yeah.
People that say that don't even play. And that's a gambling aspect. So if we take that out.
In the game.
But that's the thing. That's my point. If you people say they want to be successful, they say they want to be an entrepreneur. How many times are you willing to get back on the horse? And guess what? I did it without any guidance. That's why God had me to create this program, because I said, God, it's not just for me. If you help me, if you allow me to figure this out, I'm going to tell everybody. I'm going to help people. And that was my promise. And I don't really break promises to anybody, but I damn sure ain't gonna break no promise to God. That's all I'm just saying.
Better not.
Promise, I know, right? So let's transition. So how many deals have you done right now? And how much do you think that you've collected gross wise on those deals?
Okay, so our story is a little different because every deal has not been exactly to the way the formula teaches us. And it's crazy because what we had to realize is you teach us, we want to make 20K per deal. What we had to realize is in this troubling time, 10K is better than not getting any K.
Oh, that's it, any day. Yeah.
We've had to adjust on deals. So we haven't always made what we've wanted on each deal. But we also make sure that we're at least getting a viable amount on each deal. But we've had to take deals as low as making just 5K. Our very first deal, we only made 5K. And we was jumping hula hoops, to do that. We were doing a parade because it was progress.
Yeah.
That we weren't able to make without you.
No. So real quick, I want to revisit that too. So we're going to revisit that part that you just said next, because I have a really, really good point. It was burning me. I wanted to say it.
Okay, I'm sorry, because you did ask me specific questions about how many.
You know how our talks go, we flow. But so give me the number of deals. Give me a approximate of the gross that you have done, and then we'll revisit that same part that you just said.
Okay. So and I hate saying stuff like, I don't want to downplay it because I feel like the numbers should be
No,
more.
I'm
I always
going to
want us to
explain
work
that.
more.
I'm going to explain why we're downplaying it. And that's why
Okay.
when I said we're going to revisit it, that's going to go directly into that. So the people will understand why, but go ahead.
Okay. So we've done 4 deals. Now I'm going to keep it a buck though. We haven't made 20,000 on one deal yet. However, we was able to eke out 10 on 3 of them and 5 on that first one. So, you know what I'm saying? And
You said 35 bands?
I said 35. That's what I'm saying. So we ain't mad at nobody.
Yeah. Nobody's ashy ass kids. But
we make sure that the minimum we try to get on each deal, and I'm not even gonna say try because I hate that word, but the minimum we do 10K per deal. But what we've learned how to do that we didn't know how to do before is to make sure that everybody who's in the deal or everybody up there trying to make sure they eating, don't forget who's bringing the deal to the table. And we make sure things are structured to where everyone's going to win, including us. Because sometimes these sellers forget that you're there working for them. And that's been the thing we've had to make sure, no, we're not going to accept less than this.
I demand it. Yeah.
It's been tough. And then when that thing at the end that you wanted to talk about, like you said, you're going to give some advice. It's just one particular aspect that we've recently come up against that I really got to ask you about. So I'm glad you said you're going to do that with me because I got to, it's this one thing.
Write it down.
I have got to ask you, how are you doing this part? Because it's our toughest thing right now.
Okay.
We'll get to it.
Write it down so you don't forget, because we're going to get to that after this
for sure.
So this is the thing. And I say this, and I'm glad you brought it up, because sometimes, and even with me and you, Naomi, me and you, Stacy G, and a lot of my students in the class, and you guys know I'm passionate about your success. So sometimes as a coach, I have to watch it, right? But I'm that NBA coach on the court that's going crazy. That's me, right? Yes. But it becomes a battle like this back and forth with me as a coach and getting you guys to get the deal contracted at the right price in the beginning. So may I ask, I wanted to first ask, number one, what was the difference between that first $5,000 deal and the $10,000 deals? What was the difference? And you know, I'm looking for one phrase, and then I'm going to start. That's going to help me fuel what I have to say. Yeah, what was the one phrase that I'm looking for that made the difference of you getting the other ones averaging 10 grand versus the 5 grand on the first one?
Oh my God, you and your damn quizzes.
On the spot quizzes.
I know. And I guarantee you this is something I should know. The difference that made the difference. You're saying the thing that made the difference.
Because you said
other
it
than
to
consistency.
Me. No. So you said it to me about the first deal. You said, Mercedes, I know we should have made more on this deal, but we didn't, and that's why. What's the number one reason students aren't making more on a deal than they should?
The negotiations.
You didn't contract it at the price because it was the fear of loss in the beginning. And that's something that you and your partner dealt with a lot. Like knowing the value. Go ahead.
But you wouldn't believe. And this is what's going to lead to the question I'm going to ask you. And then actually, the seller was insisting, I'm not taking it for less than this. Then when we got a buyer, he went down 40K.
See what I'm saying? So let's stop right there. Let me elaborate.
And then we went through so much.
Hold on. Before we go through the logistics of the deal, I'm just so thankful that you brought that up, because remember I said as a coach, I go like this with my students. When it gets to this part, when it gets to getting, it seems like the biggest hurdle is my students getting under A to B contract. And it's because of the negotiating with the seller.
The right price, like you said.
The correct price. And that's the thing. That's the difference between you making 25 grand and you making 5 grand. So I'm not going to let the seller sell me. Who's the professional here, right? But it's difficult to have that mindset when you're first in the business and jump. That's the biggest hurdle. So that was one of the first things you said to me. You said, Mercedes, he kept telling me no, he kept telling me no, he kept telling me no. And then when we're in the deal, he drops it 40 grand. I said, and he'd have did that shit at the beginning of the deal. He would have did it at the beginning of the deal, which would have given me even more room to make gross on the deal. Look, you get frustrated all over again.
No, because listen, here's the thing. See, you're so seasoned, way more seasoned than us. So we didn't know how to break through the way it did at the end. But I'm going to say this, in this particular case, so many repairs came up with this house. I think he was just like, you know what, I got to do it and I'll make something at this price.
He knew that before. He knew that before. He knew I remember it was a tenant and it was a nasty house.
It was a tenant and the tenant left the house nasty, but he lived all the way in Arizona and hadn't been to Houston in a minute. So he had people that would go check things, but nobody was checking. And once the inspection was done and he found out foundation issues and all that. I don't know that he knew all that because he had been renting for years.
Maybe not the foundation, but he knew them people was nasty as hell.
Oh, absolutely.
He had people
but he was willing to fix things. Like he was willing to put money into fixing things. But at the end, when we really went into negotiating the price and telling him, hey, we ain't gonna be able to get it at this price, he was ready to walk away from us and be like, you know what? F it.
Yeah.
And then the deal happened because you know what I said? I said, you know what? Okay.
Bye.
I said, tell you what, I had one more person want to see this house. Give me one more try. And if it don't work out, hey, everybody gonna walk their separate ways and it's fine. And that was the one who ended up buying the house. So and that's the price, once they did the inspection though, that's when they was ready to say he was ready to come down on price. Because once they start seeing everything that had to be fixed. Yeah. But you wouldn't do that with us. That's gonna be what we're gonna talk about at the end. That negotiation stuff.
So so that's one thing. So we're gonna go into that because it sounds like you guys are having another hurdle. And then I also want to know hold on one second for me, Naomi.
Okay, sure.
So that's a good point. And I want to find out the hurdle with scaling a little bit more and some of the conversations that we had. And then we'll find out what this hurdle is as far as it seems like in negotiations on the B2C. But it's great that you highlighted a lot of times.
No, not the B2C. The A to B is where my question is going to come in.
Oh, okay. All right.
The hurdle.
A to B, B to Z, A to Z. I got you. Whatever it is.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but go ahead.
Oh, you're good. So I'm glad you brought up that one last thing, right? You said, once that one last thing is done, or give me one more chance. That's amazing because so many people are like, oh, well, this is where I'm at and I'm just tired. Listen, what if you were 3 feet away from gold? So literally, and that's, shout out Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. That was one of the most influential books in my life. That book allowed me to change my mindset. Before people were talking about mindset, before I knew how powerful mindset was, depending upon your household and depending on the money flow, you may have a negative mindset and not even realize that your mindset is negative. And the secret, if anybody doesn't know, in that book is the successful, I think it was a compilation of the most 100 successful men, Ford, Carnegie, a lot of them. And the one thing that they had in common was that they thought they could be as successful as they were. Literally, that was the key. Everybody, Ford kept saying, they were saying, oh, you can't do a V6, you can't do a V8, you can't do a V12. He was like, damn it, I can do it. And we kept going, you kept figuring it out. Point that I'm trying to make is there was a story that was called 3 Feet Away from Gold. And in the picture, they showed all the gold. The guy was right here and he quit and he turned around. Now, it was a true story because there was another guy who just hired some type of agriculturalist. And he was like, oh yeah, no, you're right there. If you dig this way, you'll hit the gold. And he went and he hit gold, bought the business for next to nothing. And the guy ended up being sick mentally, damn, if I would have kept going. And that story stuck with me. So I'm glad we talked about that. So let's now roll into this question that you have about the B2C negotiation portion. Let's get you brushed up on that. And then we'll go into the scaling.
It's just the one question. Right now, the biggest hurdle we're running into is we keep running into these sellers who they just negotiate. They're just not willing. It's tough. And that's the one thing, Fred and I was talking recently, and we both had to say, how is Mercedes doing this? How is she getting these people down? And because I was looking at a training you have in the course about filing, no, not filing memorandum, the training you have on listing the house, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, y'all, I'm on that video. When she say Naomi, yeah, she's talking about me. That's me. But I was looking at your list with Freedom while because you scrolled your screen. And I mentioned to Fred, I said, Fred, she had houses in there under $200,000. We have never been able to talk to anybody, even the people who in the $200,000 range. I said, I got to ask Mercedes, bruh, help me out here.
Yeah.
How? Because listen, and let me say this, in the course, in the classes, and you've even done this in the classes when it was just you teaching us, hit them with the facts from PropStream. You got these numbers.
The devaluing, right.
They don't care. They know, and they know the economy sucks right now, and they know interest rates are high, but some of them are like, I can't take less than I gotta have this. So that is right now what we feel like is our one missing piece, because we feel like we're doing a lot, very good with the other stuff you taught us. We have not figured this one out. What else do we say when we're giving them the numbers? Nobody in your neighborhood is selling for this price, or the economy's this, the interest rate. After that,
yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, and it's a loaded question, and I love it.
I know it is.
No, it's real talk. It's what you deal with, is that hurdle. And it's what causes that emotional reset. Like literally when I was selling cars, I had to get up every morning and talk to myself in the mirror and say, hey, listen, you got this. Today is going to be a positive day. The positive affirmations, right? You leave, I'm going to leave to yesterday in the past, et cetera, et cetera. To get back to what you're saying though, one of the things that just stuck with me is a seller really don't care about the numbers, right? And let me elaborate. A seller doesn't care about the numbers unless they're relevant to them. So when I tell you guys to talk about numbers, and just for an example, when I say, the houses in your area are selling for $300,000, may I add a lot of times, so the actual answer to your question is, I will ask them, what are they thinking and how did they get to their conclusion? So Naomi, I'm looking at your property, right? You had it listed at 325. May I ask in your opinion why it didn't sell? Now, hold on, pause right there, right? If I'm in a marriage and I say, hey, you weren't home in time. You came home at 3:00. Where were you? If I asked that question, I already knew where you was at. I just want you to, I'm gonna catch you in a lie. I want to hear you say it, right? Same thing with my children. Hey, listen, when did this popcorn get in the room? Was it when I got you last time and told you don't eat in the room? Or was it after that? Was it a before occurrence or an after occurrence? Because I need to know how mad I need to get. Go ahead. Okay, so then I'm gonna say, well, it didn't sell because I had the price too high. So I took it down to 300,000, and that's the least I'm gonna take. Got you. Good. As a seller, right. Okay, but hold on. Okay. Yep. Okay, Naomi, great. I appreciate that. Honesty, Naomi. So if I'm understanding you correctly, it was at 325. You thought that was the number, and you took it down to 300, and that's great because I do see that properties were selling at one point in time in 300, right? But it's also the condition. Right? Let's get on the condition price point. But first, let me say, Naomi, a person who's selling their house at 300,000, they didn't net 300,000. And what I mean by net, that's not what they took home. So most of my sellers, and let me make a side note, you got to say most of my sellers because people want to be with the norm. They don't want to be abnormal, right? So most of my sellers, they like to look at the number that they're going to get in their bank account. Right? Not a fictitious number. So this 300,000 that you thought this person got is a fictitious number, right? So let's talk about 300,000. They had to pay an agent 6%. So that's minus 18,000. So you're already at 280, right? Not to mention they had to pay closing costs. Not to mention they had to pay probably the buyer's closing costs in this market too. So, there's somewhere around 250,000 best case scenario before they paid off their mortgage. Now, Naomi, here's the kicker. You already told me the condition of your house. Your home is nowhere near in the condition even of this one. Not to mention, you saw on CNBC, you know the market is crashing. So let me ask you a question, Naomi. Do you really want to sell or no? Because everything that I just mentioned, your property isn't even comparable to this one. And this person, best case scenario, in a better market, interest rates were lower, better condition, was looking to net south of 250,000. So that's why I said,
but what about when I tell you, well, my house is in great condition. It's move-in ready. I've done all this renovations. I put some money into some paint, some cabinets, and redone the bathrooms. I've done all this work. So it's in great condition.
Yeah.
Now
So let's really role play. Let's really role play. So that was your response. Here's my response. So Naomi, I commend you. I know how difficult. I have a nice portfolio of houses, so I know how difficult it is, right, to keep up a home. So with that being said, though, when I'm saying in great condition, I'm talking about what a buyer wants in this market now. So did you tear out the kitchen, Naomi? Did you put brand new granite? Did you redo the floors? Is it the top of the line? Because I'm looking at the pictures of this property, and I can give you the address. It's 123 Spring Street. They have brand new countertops. They have the top of the line backsplash. You ever seen HGTV, Naomi? They have the nice, exhaust fans. They have top of the line appliances, brand new. I see the sticker on these appliances. They went and took all the tile out of the bathroom, did demo in the bathroom. They have the nice sinks, floating sinks, the water's coming out of the top. This house is immaculate. I wish I was Airbnb-ing it, Naomi. So I'm not saying you didn't keep up your home. I'm saying, did you gut the home and get it to an HGTV standard quality condition?
No.
Okay, so it's not worth 300,000, hon. It wasn't worth 300,000 back then, and that's the problem. I would give away all my money to you, Naomi. My board won't let me because an appraiser will not even value this at 300,000. That's my problem. It's not me, it's the appraiser. Let's stop right there. Couple things I did. You can't just knock down the seller. I commend you. I know it's hard to keep up a house. You did a great job, right? What your comparison to a actual buyer in the market wanting brand new construction, it's totally different. Totally different. That comparison is totally different.
So what about when, if I say, well, if I sell it to you for 250, I don't make anything. I owe 245. So by the time I get through with everything, I'm gonna walk away with I need to make something on this house. Cause it's another thing we hear a lot. I got to make something. I owe it. They owe so much.
Yeah.
I gotta get the 300 just so I have money to move and all this other stuff. So I'm not gonna make anything.
Yeah. So that's a good point. So what happens is, and this was the next point I was going to bring up, not every client or not every seller is a client though, or can be a client for wholesaling. So as you get more proficient, right, you do a couple more deals, Naomi, I already got plans on where I want you and your business partner to go, right? And we talked about that. But imagine once you're consistently doing even 40 or 50 grand a month, then you'll be able to say, do you really need to move? Because this is the thing, you need to be asking yourself, the people that you're putting the emphasis into, are they really distressed sellers? It sounds like no. Yeah. So every single property that you see on my list with Freedom, it was a distressed seller, and I promise you I can remember the distress. On my personal list with Freedom, the ones that my VAs, I'm not involved in it every day, so I'm not going to remember it. But every house throughout my career that I was dealing with, I can remember the distress situation for each one, whether it was divorce, whether it was death, whether it was relocation, whether it was kids were growing, whether they were relocating back to the West Coast for another job. Whatever the distress was, I could remember it. A person is not going to give you a discount if there's no distress. And that's what the probing questions are in the beginning. So you don't waste too much time if there's no real distress there, because that person will never see the value. And then you end up spending so much time and emotion into someone who's never going to give you a discount because there's no distress there anyway. They could literally sit in that house for 20 years and stay the same and not be affected. The last point before I let you talk that I wanted to say is, I'll ask them sometimes if I'm questioning whether it's a true distressed seller or not, and maybe they just don't want to tell me their business is something they're being reserved, I'll say, hey, Naomi, let me ask you a question before I even proceed, because it's okay if I don't buy this house. I just want the best for you, Naomi. Let me ask you this, and that's the takeaway. Yeah, that's the takeaway. I don't have to buy this house. I do have to make money on the house that I deal with. I don't have to buy your house, though. You know what I'm saying? I won't say that last part to the agent, but that has to be the seller, but that has to be your mind frame. But I will ask them, I'll say, hey, Naomi, let me ask you a question. If you don't sell this house, because I'm telling you, this is the number. If you don't do business at this number, it's not going to sell. Nobody's going to buy it. So if you do not do, you see how you looked at me? I know the clients be like, this chick is crazy. I swear to God, I say that though. Because if I can't get it at this number, like I offer more than the average investor in the area. So if you don't, if we're not getting this number, then it's just not going to sell. So if it doesn't sell, Naomi, and it takes you another 10, 15, 20 years before the market turns back around to this high astronomical number that you're looking for, if that happens and that's your future, what would life look like for you?
I'm gonna give you two responses, because sometimes, I can keep the house, because I'll just wait for interest rates to go back up. We get those.
Okay. So hold on real quick. Let's role play that one. Great. Naomi, I totally understand. So what I'm going to do, it sounds like there's not a discount in the future for me where it would make sense for me to buy this. I'm going to get your email address. I'm going to send the offer anyway. If anything changes, let me know. But I will tell you, if it's more than a week, I'm going to have to reevaluate the property, and the price is probably going to be lower if we have to go back and revisit this. But I'm going to go ahead and send you the offer anyway, just so you have my contact information, just so it's there.
I love it.
What's the next question?
So the other one, the flip side to that would be, I just can't take that number. I just can't take that price. I mean, I gotta make so much because I gotta move. I had one lady tell me she need $40,000 to move. So if she's accept the price I'm offering her, they won't have money to move.
So let me ask you a question. What is it about you have to have this price? You have to have this price. Let's break this number down. Okay. So 300,000 is what your home was worth like 6 to 8 months ago. We already just talked about it not being worth that now. You say that you owe $200,000 approximately on the mortgage, right? Now the property isn't in shape. So really my offer is way too high, even as it sits, but I just feel like there's a deal somewhere, Naomi. So with that being said, talk to me about, let's get off of this big number. You said you need $40,000 to move. So help me, let's talk about that number, because let me try to help you find a way to chisel that number down. And then I think that's where we have a deal, because Naomi, you're never going to get that number, even if you're thinking there's another investor out there. If I don't know anything, I know my numbers, Naomi. No one else is going to pay this price point. Let me help you work on this number and maybe get this $40,000 number down, because if I do that, and we can make that make sense and maybe cut some places, then it sounds like we would have a deal. Am I understanding that correctly, Naomi?
Yes.
Okay, good. So what's encompassed in that $40,000? Are you putting some in savings? Is it really going to cost you money to like transfer your stuff? What's that whole 40 grand?
So in that case with that lady, and I didn't get into that, so that's a good place to go. Because I don't know anybody need $40,000 to move, but people will say, I got to get a place. I got to do this. I got to do that. We actually have one guy we've been working with for about 3 months. He insists he's got to walk away with $50,000 after he pays what he owes. He wants to sell his house because he's getting married and his fiance wants them to buy a house together, but they want to sell this house, rent for a year, and buy a house in like a year. But he insists he's got to get $50,000 because in his business, he's got to buy him another truck.
Okay, so listen, so I would, Naomi, I'd have closed them already. Let me tell you why. A couple of things just came to mind. Boom. You just said, okay, I got to have $50,000.
Because we at the end of him. I mean, honestly, we have tried so many things with this guy.
It's okay. Yeah, I got to have $50,000. May I ask what for, sir? Oh, I need to get another truck in my business. Okay, what is the bare minimum that you have to put down in order to get another truck in your business?
I need $50,000 for the truck, and then we got to move because we're going to rent for a year.
But if the truck is $150,000, you have to put 50. How much do you have to put down on a truck to get a new truck?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, it ain't the whole 50. I can tell you that. I know they're not making you put down a third on the truck, especially if you already have other trucks. You already have a business. Hold on a second, Naomi, because let me go to the other points. Hold on a second.
Sorry,
so I know it's not. No, that's okay. I know it's not 50,000, right?
Oh my God,
so
he's calling.
That's God. That is. No,
I'm
you
not
can't.
talking to him.
Sir. Take these points down and then
Yes.
close them and then text me when you close them.
Okay.
So, yep, you go in, you say, listen, I know you don't have to put that much down. And then when you tell me buy a new truck, any subsequent amount that you could put down, the truck is going to be bringing you more money. So you're actually losing money if you do not go ahead and get this done because you're not able to get another truck. So we're going to put the minimum amount down on the truck. That's one. Two, okay, you said that you need to go and rent and you need to buy another house. Guess what? It's not just you getting less for your house. You're also paying less for the other houses out there. So that's the kicker that I want you and everybody else to realize. When people were selling their houses at these high astronomical numbers, guess what? They had to buy at another high astronomical number. So really the gap was the same. And that's what people don't understand. The inflation was the same. Oh, I bought my house for 200. I'm selling it for 400. Yeah, but now you got to buy a house for 400,000 or for 600,000 and pay a higher mortgage. And that's what people are now starting to realize. So now that he's selling at a discounted price, you're going to get a discounted price. So you're really still at the same amount, ma'am, sir, seller.
Well, see, he wants 300. We got an offer for this house for 280 right now that we have to figure out what to do with because he insists he can't take 260. He owes 204 and then 12,000 for some rent payback program he got to pay. So that's only 216,000. So even if you took it for 260, you still gonna make 50,000. And I still don't understand why he's like 265. Oh, I can't do that. That's what he told Fred yesterday. 265. Oh no, I can't do that. But we have a cash offer 280 right now. So I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I love everything you're saying though, because I'm gonna take these notes back. But this is the deals we get into where we get at a loss on how to get these people to see you're gonna be sitting on this house for more than a year if you aren't reasonable.
Yeah, the thing that I would see with you and your partner is that you either never do the takeaway or you take too long to do the takeaway. Yeah. You either never.
I know exactly what you mean by that.
Yeah.
We're babysitting them too long, too much.
Yeah, because my offer don't last that long. Me personally, my offer does not last that long. You see what I'm saying? So it's one of those situations, him thinking that he has all the time in the world. Remember, it's the scarcity. You need to either do this now, or if not, people have literally come back to me, Naomi, and I'm like,
we've had
I can't offer you. Yeah, so you know the game. They come back to me now. I can't offer you that amount. Now,
the thing is, we've been dealing with him now, I would say about 3 months. We've had a lot of people go see the house, things like that. But we've had investors come and it's just, we can't make the numbers work. We even talked to someone about creative financing for this guy. And because he couldn't get 50K down, he wasn't interested, but he wouldn't do it. So it's crazy because the numbers, we can't seem to make it work. So maybe we should have just walked away and said, you know what? If anything changes, you contact us back. Because now we got off on the table, we can't even close because he is not willing to. I mean, 265, bro, come on.
Yeah. So he's not, is he under contract or he's not under contract?
He's under contract, but he's under contract for a ridiculously high number at this point. So we've already been,
but see, that's
where he's already been willing to go down.
Yeah.
To 275 at one point.
See, that's the thing though. And that's what I always say. And that's why I tell you with me and my students, it's this. I love you. I love your business partner. You know that we've talked and we've walked through things, but it's now you having an uphill battle. And once again, it's because you didn't contract it at the right price the first time. You're right. That negates and takes everything away. If it was contract, and the thing is it starts looking at as this far-fetched dream for the seller, because it's like, is this really going to even happen?
What would you do at this point with this situation? Would you just walk away? Because we don't operate from fear of loss. You taught us very well about we will walk away from a deal, but I would do it. Had so many possibilities with this. We've just been trying to work them. Even if we ended up with our 10K and can at least close the deal, but it's getting harder and harder to do. So for me, if I'm in a situation where someone's not being reasonable, I'll just kill the deal. I will let them know. I'll say, hey, listen, this is where we're at. I've tried to do everything. I think at this point, it's going to take time for you to be reasonable. And then, we'll just have to kill the deal. I'll go ahead and snatch it from the attorney's office. But my main advice that I could do for you guys
is to just make sure that you contract it at the right price point the first time.
This has been great advice, so I appreciate it. Even after all this time, a
Good.
year later.
Yeah, sometimes you just
A
got to
year
revisit
later.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So last thing, what I want to do, once you guys get that hurdle together, and it's a small hurdle, right?
Mhm.
You've passed way bigger hurdles in this career.
Yeah.
I want to get you guys on the internet leads. I need to get you guys on the internet lead. Once I can see that you all are contracting them at the right price, that's going to do, you're going to be like, yo, Mercedes, why didn't you make me do this earlier? No, for real, I promise you.
But you also made another point. Can I ask you a question? When you were talking about distress, is it possible we need to be doing more different lead sources? Because I do tell Fred that, well, we might need to diversify our lead sources right now.
So when you
everyone on the source that you teach us to use ain't distressed. They want to sell, but they ain't distressed. A lot of them.
But and then sometimes it's time too. So over time, someone will get distressed as well. So
but should we broaden our lead sources instead of just doing that? Because you mentioned divorce, you mentioned foreclosure, you mentioned a different. We're not using those people. We straight using what you tell us in the course to use.
Yeah, so no, you're supposed to use that in the course, right? So when you recognize divorce, relocation, things of that nature, when you recognize that, then at that point, that's how you know that's the distress.
But should I be getting other lists as well as what we using? The main thing you tell us to use, of course.
Yeah. So no. So for me, when I want more leads, I open up another market.
That's it though, just another market, not a different, because we could, you can get divorce leads, you can get foreclosure, you can get leads that are targeted those distressed people instead of just getting them from the source we use every day.
I don't like those
leads.
Think so? Because no, I know not, because not just because someone's getting a divorce doesn't mean they're selling the house.
I understand that, but I'm saying, are you only getting your distressed people from
that is Mojo? Correct. That is correct. Mojo, wholesalers. I just told you. Open up another market. So I'll try another market fast. People told me Alabama doesn't work. I made hundreds of thousands of dollars in small Alabama, right? I've made money in Arkansas, places where people aren't the hot market.
Yeah.
I'll add another area and I'll go there to try a different market. And see, this is another thing. Markets that work in Mojo don't necessarily work with internet leads and vice versa. So my internet leads will work in certain markets. Like internet leads are fire in Vegas, but I can't get people in Nevada on the expireds because nothing expires out there. So that combination, right? That ain't shit expiring, because if you get you something, it's flying for the high. So that's what I mean. The combination of getting it out the mud and the internet leads is a crazy ass explosive combination.
Gotcha.
And that's what I mean. So if I want to test out a market, or if I need more opportunity, I add an additional state or area in a lit state. So like Texas, I'm doing all three. You see what I'm saying? That's how I would perform versus maybe just doing the one. And
we
then
did that too.
and
you gave me that advice before.
Yeah,
we added like mad crazy, but we were going more the mainstream cities, and I wonder, we need to just mix it up a little bit, because it wouldn't hurt.
You got to just try it. It only costs $50 to try it. I don't like lists, because the time that you spend talking to people that do not already want to sell, that already wanting to sell is so powerful. Because you have where right now you can operate off of 2 VAs, I would need 5 VAs. And the money that I would spend on the additional 3 VAs, I put in advertising.
Gotcha.
Okay. So I love you. I appreciate you coming. And I want you to do the takeaway with this gentleman who just called. See what he wants first, right? Do the takeaway and say, hey, it looks like, we're just not going to come to one on this. And then
see what happens.
See how he acts.
One more thing. So what's the awards? Like, how are you just, is it going to be like an actual, are you just letting people know, hey, you won the Best Newbie Award, or you won the, Are you just alerting
Oh,
people that getting awards? How is it
It's an A
working?
to B. Yeah, good question. A to B contract, C to B, A to B contract, B to C contract, and then a closed deal award. So
Okay.
you guys, I need to know the gross. If you could just text me the gross on each deal, and you're gonna have to send me the contract or the HUD just so I can prove the gross. But on each of those 4 deals that you close, you'll get an award that says 5,000, and then the other one that says like 10, or whatever that exact dollar amount is. And then I just need a photo so I can show people it's real and motivating.
Okay.
All right, honey,
Okay.
but just give Fred my love.
I will. He'll be glad to hear from you always. So
All
thank
right.
you so much for catching up with me too.
Yeah, let me know if you have any questions and close that deal.
Yes, ma'am. I'll keep you posted.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.